I just don't know anymore, man. I don't know if this is the right decision. I don't know if this is the right path I need to take, man. I just don't know anymore, dog. I don't care if this is the correct decision. No matter the consequences, no matter what takes place after this, no matter where life may take us, my people are gonna eat good today. We're gonna go up into like I can't be the only one that feels this way, man. Where after you read a chapter of Kingdom, you feel the blood rushing through your system. You want to go run a lap. You're like, Coach, put me in the game. Put me in the game, man. I'll catch like 5 receptions for 60 yards down the field, 10 touchdowns. I mean, it don't matter. Put me in any type of game, man. I'll go in there like some. I'll average a triple double, a quadruple double. After a Shin speech, my general, Shin, baby, high Shin unit going up in the like somewhere. Listen, bro. Sometimes after experiencing the kingdom greatness, it's like you get hit by a speech by a motivational speaker. You want to go out there and change your lives, and you want to go out there and make better decisions for yourself. You want to go out there and start moving forward, and whatever it is that you need to do. Whatever goal it is that you're trying to pursue, man. After seeing Shin go out and the way that he progresses in his journey, the way that he's still hungry even after achieving and attaining all the success. Look at where we are right now. My boy is a general. You know what he did when he got that rank that he's been waiting for the entire series? He smiled, he smirked. You wanna know why he smirked? Because my boy was like, listen, this is just the beginning, dog. This is the beginning of my legend. I'm General Shin. One of these days, you're gonna know me as the great general, the greatest general under the heavens, man. Whenever, like Say stated back in chapter 438, when they reinstate the Chin 6, Shin is gonna be leading the pack going up in like swimwear, you know what I'm saying? So Shin's like, yo, this is just the beginning. We haven't unified China. I'm not a great general of the heavens. I'm not a part of Chin 6 yet. This is a stepping stone. Even after everything he does, even after slaying Hoken, he's still hungry. He still wants to go over like swimwear. And when I see stuff like that, it gets me so pumped. Just like in reality, it gets me pumped, man. I'm like, yo, if Shin is still hungry, I gotta be starving. You know what I mean? I gotta be starving, man. I want to reach that next level, like my boy Shin. And it's great because, and the reason I'm making today this video today is because I've been thinking a lot about Shin's character and why it is that his character means so much to so many of us that are Kingdom fans. It's like when you see him out here doing his thing, and you see how within the arcs, you see all the training coming to fruition, all the moments of pain, and the things that he's fought through, and the obstacles he's had to overcome, and how he's grown from that, from the beginning of the series until now. Because you get to see how much he's leveled up and how he continues to level up through the arcs themselves. And then when the arc finishes, you get to see the results screen. Like, how much did he level up? How far did he manage to go in his progress toward becoming Great General of the Heavens? And as a massive fan of video games, somebody who plays a lot of JRPGs, stuff like Call of Duty, where there is a progression system, I love that type of storytelling when it comes to Shin's character, because it does give that type of, okay, now he's reached this number of commander, this number of commander, this number of commander, now he's a general, so what happens now when it comes to general? You know, he's still hungry, now it's the step to become to the next portion. And the higher he goes, the more responsibility that he has, the more weight that he has, as we saw in the last arc, but the more that he has to overcome, and the more that he has more trials put in his way, you know, and the more stuff that he has to take on in order to go on to the next step. And so because of that, Shin's speeches tend to hit really, really hard, because we know that not only does he talk about it, he is about it. You know, he's the type of dude that we listen to him because he 110% believes and is willing to do whatever it takes to accomplish whatever it is that he states. So when he says something, he's about it. Like, you believe 110% that when Shin says he's going to do it, he's going to do it. He has that type of mentality. And and he has the actions speak louder than words of mentality as well. Where yes, he will speak those words that will get us pumping and put me in the game, coach, and all that stuff, but his actions speak very loudly as well. But his speeches are so legendary, bro. And so today, I want to talk about two speeches in particular. I shouldn't even say talk about it. I really just want to look back on and reread two specific speeches that happened in two consecutive arcs. One in the Conky saga that took place before the Western Zhao invasion, and of course the legendary speech in the Western Zhao invasion arc in chapter 579. So we're going to be looking at chapter 480 and chapter 579 for two speeches that deliver completely different emotions, but at the end of the day, it's because Shin realizes the words that needs to be stated at that point in time in order to boost up the morale of the unit. And they are two speeches directed at the Hishin unit. One is directed more towards Bihei, and then it goes into the Hishin unit and the rest of the squad. But the other one is 110% a, yo, we have no business winning this, but we're going up in like swimwear anyway type of speech. So we're going to look at chapters 480 and 579 as two of my favorite speeches in the entire series. Shin has had a lot of fantastic ones, but I want to look back at these two just to, focus on the point of this video and the greatness of Shin, how he's able to do these different types of speeches to deliver a message to his crew and to his people in different types of ways. It doesn't always have to be a hype speech, or like in chapter 344 in the Battle of Sai, where he was almost unconscious. I mean, dude was standing, fighting, but he wasn't there. Like, that's how hard he was going in. And then at nighttime, when everything settled down, he wasn't responding to anyone until Sei finally came up to him as his commander-in-chief. And that's when Shin was like, oh, so the day's finally over. He plops on the ground. That's whenever he had a legendary moment where he tells Ko, yo, do you believe in miracles? Like, yo, don't count us out yet, baby. I know what I may look like right now, but don't count us out, baby. And it's moments like that that really make me love this character. But let's go ahead and look at these two speeches, man, because they're absolutely incredible. So if you want to follow along, once again, we're going to be looking at chapter 480 first. So you want to pull up chapter 480, and then the chapter 579, if you want to have them up in two separate tabs, whatever you want to do. Or if you just want to listen to me talk about this, man, whatever you want to do, you do it, son. So let's go ahead and look at this. So this takes place, of course, right after the entire Bihei plot line in the Conky saga that happened in the 400s. Just some absolutely crazy stuff, man. Some really emotional stuff. But this is the way that Shin welcomes Bihei back into the squad. So he's like, a tent? Where? Ouch. Shin. He looks over at Shin as he's, it looks like he's kind of sleeping / meditating here, like dozing off a little bit. And that means this is the Hishin unit's camp. How did I... Wait, why is Shin here anyway? Maybe he feels like he still hasn't hit me enough. Yeah, that's probably it. I was with him the longest and the one who should have supported him the most, but I ended up betraying all his expectations. Shin, and right before he speaks, Shin says, did you know? Back on one of our past battlefields, I actually went and stole food from some ordinary family's home. What? You don't remember? It was around when I just made 300-man commander, but we messed up once and ended up with the whole unit all split up. Took us more than a week for everyone to find each other again. I was all by myself, badly wounded and about to collapse from hunger. It was while wandering around the forest in that condition that I stumbled onto this small hut. It looked like the owners had left in a rush. All the food they had cooked was left behind untouched but slightly rotten, so I went in and ate everything. I was so hungry that my mind was a haze, but I still remember how that half-rotten food tasted like one of the most amazing meals I've ever had. Half a year later, I found myself in a similar situation. The family had escaped and the food they left behind was still fresh. The only big difference was that this time I wasn't so weak from hunger that I felt like I was going to pass out. But I was still really hungry, so I ate it again, and it tasted like absolute garbage. Well, it's not like I know what garbage actually tastes like, but either way, it tasted so bad that it actually made me want to throw up. And it was at that moment that I thought to myself, yeah, it makes sense. I didn't really think I did a good job explaining, but you get what I'm trying to say, right, Bihei? Bihei's like, yeah, I do. Back when I was a kid, I'd spend every day talking with Hyo about generals making names for themselves across battlefields. It gets you emotional, bro. Making names for themselves across battlefields. About stuff like how cool or how strong a real great general of the heavens must be like. Every night inside that filthy little hovel, two dirty servant boys who had never even laid eyes on a real general would laugh and shout about how generals must be like this or like that until they finally fell asleep. The bright shining image of a general the two of us built up had nothing to do with the dark corners of war like slaughtering and raping innocent people. No surprises there, after all, it was from the imagination of two brats who knew nothing of the battlefields. But I have no intentions of letting that image of a great general of the heavens that was dreamt up by Hyo and me fade. Even if I were to use Conky's methods and keep winning until I became a great general, there's no way that would make Hyo happy. And the same goes for me. I know that the things I say sound like something a kid would say, and because of that, even you guys end up getting mocked for being naive fools, and I know that you've had to put up with a lot because of it. But I don't want to give up that dream. The same great general of the heavens that made two boys' hearts beat with excitement, stronger and cooler than anything in the world. That is the sort of general that I wish to become. And likewise, that is the sort of army I wish the Shin unit to become. I'm sorry for forcing all of you to go along with my selfishness. And you have the entire squad just tearing up, bro, as they're listening to this legendary speech. And I love what Bihei states after this, man, where he's like, yo, idiots like you shouldn't be trying to read into things so much anyway. Everyone's following you because they want to. They already know everything and they still choose to follow you. They do it because all of them want to fight together with you. Oh my god, man. Besides, Shin, the truth is none of us are enduring or putting up with anything at all. I know now after joining the Conky army, there's a big difference between the Shin unit and the Conky army. Unlike Conky's men, the Shin unit, our hearts aren't empty. It's because our hearts aren't empty that we don't need to rape and pillage to fill that void. That's why even if we don't do any of that, the Shin unit's hearts are still fuller and stronger than anyone out there. It's because we can fight by your side that we all... Bro, the tears start flowing. Yo, Shin, could you let me back into the Shin unit again? I'm sorry for what I did, so please, just one more. It's just like, yo, of course. Without you, the most lively one around to kick things off, how are we meant to get anything done? So good, man. So good. This is peak kingdom right here, bro. This speech is one of my favorite moments in the entire series because it's Shin realizing, you know, the image of a general. That one could easily take either shortcuts or do things that the individual who dreamed of that in the past, like your younger self, would you do anything on your path to accomplish this dream that you couldn't tell your younger self? That your younger self would be ashamed of you, that your younger self would look at you and say, that's not the great general of the heavens that I know. That's not the individual who I dreamed of seeing. You know, this person of high stature, of high caliber, a person who carries themselves with dignity and respect, and somebody who does things with honor and pride, and prides themselves on being individuals who do things the right way. And I love this speech from Shin because he's like, man, I was starving out there. And the first time I did it, it tasted amazing. But the second time, and the more that we progress in this journey, it tasted like absolute garbage. Because this isn't right. I shouldn't be doing this in somebody else's house. The food's the same, but my heart isn't. You know what I mean? That stuff is so gold, dude. And it's whenever he starts talking about how him and Hyo would, you know, even though they knew nothing of the world, the way that they dreamed of becoming these great generals, and they looked at them with and praised them for being beings of high value, for stature. And it's like, man, And he's like, yo, I have no intentions of letting that image of a great general of the heavens that was dreamt up by Hyo and me fade. And it's like, yo, I know I may spout nonsense that sounds like a kid would be saying it, because it really is his inner self. It's his inner child saying stuff like, yo, let's win this because I'm gonna become the great general of the heavens one day. Because that is his inner self. That is his kid self. That's Hyo. That is a combination of Shin and Hyo saying that at the same exact time. And it's carrying that mentality back from when they were little children, dude. But it's those ambitions that you have as a child that you need to take with you, man, to go and accomplish what you want to do. And this one page right here is one of my favorite pages in the entire series. But I don't want to give up that dream. The same great general of the heavens that made two boys' hearts beat with excitement stronger and cooler than anything in the world. That is the sort of general that I wish to become, man. I want to be a general that the kids could look up to. I want to be a general that the kids can look at and be like, yo, I want to be like him. And not just in terms of being great, but in terms of the way that I carry myself as well. How do you carry yourself? How do you go about your daily activities? And I love that so much, dude. And the thing is what Shin follows after that. He's like, not only does that go for me as the leader, as the captain, as all Cappy King, as the great general, I expect that out of my entire squad as well. And that's so beautiful, man. And Shin even apologizes after that, saying, yo, I know I'm asking for a lot, and I'm sorry for forcing all of you to go along with his selfishness. And for Bihei to state what he says, where he's like, yo, I don't gonna be you don't gotta be sorry for anything. And it's coming from Bihei, who's been with him the longest, who's been with him from the very, very beginning, from jump. It's like, yo, everybody's following you because they want to, because they realize that you're about it, that you're real out here, man. You make mistakes, you aren't perfect, but we follow you because you're a man of the people. You follow you because we know that by following you, not only do we have happy times in front of us, but we have times where we can be proud of what we've done. We do things in the right way, right? We're going to follow you, and as a leader, we're of course going to take on those same attributes that you've taught upon us, man. And it's so beautiful, bro. I love this chapter. This is honestly, the longer that the series goes on, and the longer that I've gone away from the catch-up journey, and I've gone back to re-experience some of these arcs and some of these moments, and the closer connection that I had to the Hishin unit, especially after chapters like chapters 630, 31, 32 that we had in the Western Zhao invasion, that really, really showed me just how much I care about these characters. When I look back at moments like this, I'm like, man, this is what makes Kingdom special for me. This is what makes Shin as a character so special to me. Because you could give this same amount of dialogue, or I shouldn't even say the amount, the same exact words to somebody else. And depending on the situation, and depending on what they've done and what the author has showed to you, it wouldn't have the same amount of weight. But it has the weight that it does because we've seen the journey that Shin has gone on. We know that we have experienced him growing to have this type of mindset. And to see Shin act in this manner and speak of this type of stuff in comparison to how he thought in the beginning of the story, even though he's always carried those same values, that same core mentality, the things that he not only values, but the things that he wants to push upon other people so that they can take those same things on into their own life. Those things have progressed and evolved. And so to see that, and to see it within this chapter with an individual who he's had from the very beginning, it's amazing. I love this chapter. And chapter 480, that is an awesome sauce of awesome sauces right there, man. It's such a magnificent chapter. And then in a very similar light, bringing up the morale of the crew, but in a different way, because now we're in a scenario where Shin knows well beyond anyone else just how impossible the odds are stacked against them in this current point in time. Yes, they may be fighting together with the Gyokuho, but at the end of the day, it depends on what they do together as a unit, on whether they're going to survive and fight in order to get to the next day. And so, let's go ahead and re-experience this Santa Hat level speech right here, man. Chapter 579. The put me in the game. Well, Shin has had several put me in the game coach speeches, but this is one of them. Our Hishin unit first began with only 100 men to our name. It all started with us being given the reckless plan of taking out some great General Fuki. Back then, Ryusen got so scared that for a moment he couldn't even move. Still remember that, Ryusen? I do, but did you have to bring that up? And Ryusen's embarrassed. It's like Flag Dart. So even Ryusen-san was like that. And see, stuff like that, hearing other characters who joined us recently, hearing like, oh, so even the great Ryusen thought in that way, that by itself showing like, man, look at how far we've come. That people are looking at these individuals that have been with us for so long as these legends of battle. Because they've gone through so much and have progressed through so much and have overcome so much. It's like, yo, they're not perfect, but they are legendary figures at this point. So you don't have to be perfect to be legendary. You don't have to be perfect to create a legacy for yourself. And ever since then, it's been one reckless battle after another, slowly racking up our accomplishments and slowly growing in size with it. And now we're a 5,000-man unit. Together with a 3,000 from Kyokai's group, that's a whopping whole 8,000 men. But this is nowhere near the end. I am a man who will become a great general of the heavens. And when that time comes, the number of soldiers under my command will number in the tens of thousands. However, the core of that army will be you. Its roots will be the men here, all of you before me right now. And when that day comes, I want to stand in front of them just like I am doing now. I want to stand before tens of thousands of men and tell them of the day the 8,000-man Heishin unit produced a miracle on Shukai Plains and emerged victorious. A miracle on Shukai Plains and emerged victorious. And how it was only thanks to them that I was able to become a great general of the heavens. Right now, the right wing doesn't even have an overseeing commander. Supreme Commander Osen has chosen to ignore us. No one is going to come to save us. Our food stores are empty and our hunger claws at us. But even then, I still want to be able to tell them of how thorough the Heishin unit's miracle. How through the Heishin unit's miracle we were able to win the day. Like hell, I'm gonna let our story end here. Lend me your strength, Heishin unit. Not by myself, but together with all of you. We're gonna keep charging forward until we reach great general of the heavens. Like hell, we'll let this be the end. Not a chance. We're gonna win. We're gonna turn this into a miracle and win this. Everyone, lend me your strength, Heishin unit. And bro, I'm telling you, when I first heard this speech, I reread this chapter like 15 times. After I initially read this. And every single time I wanted to run around the room, man, and start going up and like somewhere. Because it's such a beautiful speech that comes directly and straight from the heart of Shin, man. It's a speech that you know. And I love this panel right here of Kyokai just blushing a little bit like, yo, that's my guy. That's my man right there. And it's great, man, just seeing the rest of the squad, the way they're cheering. These are grown men, dude. Out here crying because they're like, yo, we're gonna do this, man. We're gonna do this for our Cappy Can, this man himself, Shin. And it's so, I love this speech, bro. It's hard to put into words, especially when you love something a lot, like why it is that you love that thing. But I'm gonna try my hardest here, man, because this speech is beyond special, especially with the context of what happens afterwards with Shosa and the stuff that takes place after that within this arc. But even before then, just seeing how much Shin himself had grown within this arc when he received the glaive as the Heishin unit moved forward. I believe that was chapter 543, where we got this incredible panel of the Heishin unit in like a double spread, and it showed all the characters, and it just put into perspective how much we've grown and how much the Heishin unit has, you know, become this massive army of individuals, this unit of individuals that people have come to fear. Like, yo, when these dudes are moving, we gotta be careful. And we got the double spread to really put it all in perspective, right? I believe that was chapter 543. And then as the arc progresses, we got even more and more of that, until it all popped off in this moment. In a moment filled with impossible odds. They are starving. But Shin's like, yo, this ain't gonna end today. And in the same way that he did back in the chapter 480 speech, he was like, yo, I don't want to go out there and do this by myself. I know I'm not gonna do this by myself. Because we're all one unit. We're all one heart. We're all one soul. The Heishin unit will live through this day. We're gonna win this. And then later down the line, when I am a great general, and we have tens of thousands of people under us. I want to talk about the legends of the 8,000 man unit from the Shin unit back in the day. They produced a miracle on these Shukai plains and went up straight up in like swimmer when they had no business going about it. Because our will and our will to come out of this victorious, to live to the next day, was stronger than any glaive, any arrow, any battle strategy, anything that took place on this day. Our strength, our will of fire was stronger than all of that, man. And I love it so much. And it's great because Shin reminisces about the past, even brings up one of the individuals from the past to show the other people who just recently joined that we're still human. These are individuals who get embarrassed. These are individuals who lose, who fail. But we have moved forward and we continue to build our legacy and we continue to do our things. And as we rack up our accomplishments and as we become a bigger unit, things are going to happen. You know, we're going to slowly grow with size. More obstacles will come. But we must live to fight the next day. Because I am the individual who will become the great general of the heavens. And I need all of y'all to come with me, man. This is nowhere near the end. Flipping Flagnards, bro. It's such a... It's like the Shin speech, man. Like, it's so good. Because it touches upon so many different things of like fighting with everything that you have, being proud of who you are, being proud of what has gotten you to this point, and taking those things so that you can win today, specifically today. But always remember that we're fighting for tomorrow. So let's focus on winning today so that tomorrow we can look back on it in the way that we've looked back on all the other battles and say, Flagnards, we did it. And that goes for the individuals that have been with me since day one and the individuals that have been with me since a couple days ago. And I love it so much, man, where he's like, yo, I'm not gonna let my story end today. Lend me your strength. Yo, it gives you goosebumps, bro. Lend me your strength. He Shin you. And everybody's like, whoa. And it's so grateful in the 480 speech because even then he's like, yo, I know I spout stuff that sounds like a kid would say it. You know, this is something that would come from like Shonen Jump magazine or whatever. You know, where like friendship and effort and and we can do this with enough determination. But at the end of the day, that's how I feel. I'm still a kid in the inside. Yes, we've gone through our battles and we've done our things. We've seen the horrors of war. But at the end of the day, I'm still a kid on the inside. I'm still the individual who looked at that seat of great general of the heavens and wanted to reach it so bad. I still have that hunger. And I want all of y'all to be the same way, man. I want all of y'all to reach this pinnacle, this zenith with me. So let's make it, man. Let's go out here and produce this miracle and do our thing, baby. Lend me your strength. His unit. The Shin unit, man. Shin is the... as time goes on, and as... like I said, as more Kingdom chapters come out, as I spend more time with the series, as I go back and reread some more, as I see other people experiencing the story, I feel like my connection to the Shin unit grows, and because of that, my connection to the characters who have been there for a really long time grows as well. And then because of that, my love for who was already my two favorite characters in the story, Shin and Kyokai, that grows as well. And they have so many marvelous moments as a unit. Shin himself has more incredible moments than you can count on your hands and on your feet, right? But I want to talk about these two today because they are two speeches that really embody why it is that I love this character so much. Because he is an individual who is about it. He is an individual who wants to motivate and speak things into reality. You know, these things that one would normally be embarrassed on saying and yelling out to people. He's saying this to a whole bunch of individuals knowing dang well they're about to throw themselves into what could possibly be their final fight. And he wants to prove to them that this is a fight worth fighting. This is something that's worth living for. This is something that's worth going up in like sumo for, man. And with both of these speeches and the different manners that he did it, one was calm and collected, the other one was filled with hype and it's made your blood pump and go up in like swimwear. But that's why I love Shin's character so much, man. Because he does both. He speaks, and those words hit the soul. But when he does it, his actions also speak louder than those very words that he just said. And that's why I love Shin, man. Is an individual that looks at the consequences. He knows what very well could take place. But he'll take care of that afterwards, man. Because right now, he's got to go up in like swimwear. Because he's got a dream to carry out. And he's going to do it to the best of his ability. He's going to make sure that his people eat good too. And he's going to make sure that when he does it right. And does it with integrity and respect. So that the individual within his squad can look at him with that same type of respect, and they themselves can act with that same type of attitude and respect. But then the individual's like that little kid, and like whenever he got back in chapter 641 and he saw a massive celebration, people telling him like, yo, you did this, you did that, he could say it with a smile because he did things the right way. He didn't cheat his way out of victories. He didn't cheat his way out of his legacy. You know, he left a legacy behind. Right now, he's building it. He already has one, but he continues to build it. And he's still hungry, and he's still going to be like Storm, man. What an awesome character, and I just really wanted to look back on that Shin greatness, on these two speeches. Because, man, they really is, like, the stuff that I love this series for. It's like those incredible moments that really, like I was talking about yesterday in the Final Fantasy video, it's like it blends, or I'm sorry, it blurs that line between fiction and reality for me, where I can see this speech from Shin and it'll do the same thing for me as if I were to go on YouTube and look up a motivational speech. Like, it'll make me want to go out and want to truly improve and progress in whatever it is that I'm trying to achieve, because you see someone who is doing it. And yes, he may be a fictional character, but in the way that Hara has shown him from day one up until now, and the way that he's progressed, and he's gone through certain obstacles. He's not perfect. He's an individual that's gone through so many different types of things. But at the end of the day, he continues to move forward and progress and overcome everything that comes in his way, man. And he's lived to tell the tale, and he inspires others. And it's so incredible. I love this series. I love Shin, man, but these speeches are another level, dude. And these speeches would not hit as hard as they do if it were not for the journey that came before it, man. So that's it for me today. Shin Awesome Sauce. Let me know if these two speeches hit you as hard as they hit me, or if you have another speech that you would like to bring up in this series of Kingdom, not even necessarily just excluded to Shin. Any other speech, like I know there's an amazing amount of Sei speeches, as my boy Sei has delivered some incredible ones. But just anything from Kingdom that you'd like to talk about in the comment section down below, I'll definitely be down there, man, to be in the awesome sauce. But aside from that, man, everybody has an awesome day. Take care. Kingdom greatness. Shout out to my boy, our General, Recon, man.